Istungon jokayadega. Istungon jokayadega. Istungon jokayadega ga. More than one. If there's 9 participants here, Istungon jokayadega ga. That means, did y'all make it through the night? Okay. That's how we change this. Remember now, look at the endings. Istungon jokayadega. That's for one person. Istungon jokayadega ga is for more than 2. Even a group. So y'all guys, okay. I went over this the other day and we're going back over again. It says Muskogee. Yeah. Muskogee bonaga, Muskogee in Mvhayv. The main component of the Muskogee tribe is language. So you would say, must see how I got them broke down. Remember your sounds? That's why I teach sounds. All of these are broken down into those sounds that we were studying. Muskogee, Obonaga, Muskogee, in Mvhayv. The main component of the Muskogee tribe is language. Make language a habit. Bonaga, imunga, hayat. Make language a habit or make language natural. Natural. Bonaga inhuntet. Accept language and believe in it. Bonaga andos gomet. Language own the identity. This is saying, this is me. The language is me. Think it's me because it is, isn't it? Because it goes right back up to here. In Mvhayv, the main component of the Muskogee tribe is language. Bojanita, inagijit. Make today, make it the present. Today is Bojanita, make it yours. Inagijit means make it yours. Carry the future, nitta ojahanat, ganothet. This carries for me, carry the future, honor the past. And God knows that means you carry it on your back. And for some, it's a burden. It's a hard, heavy thing to carry. But you know, my mom used to tell me that anything you do, like a chief of a ceremonial ground, anything, a preacher at a Creek church, they carry heavy. It's heavy on their backs because they got to think about all kinds of things. They got to think about the safety of their people. Everything. So you carry it. So that's how I put God knows it. Carry it on your back all the time. Carry it. And I shared this with my grandkids, and one said backpack. Is it like a backpack? And I said, yeah, you carry it on your back. So they're starting to really get into language now, and I'm showing them to be proud of it. So they're really getting, and one's going to enter the spelling bee. An 8-year-old. She said, I'm going to enter that spelling bee, Grandma. And I said, let's do it. So we've been working on it. She's brave enough at 8 years old, and some of them is not as adults, you know, are afraid to go. She said, I'm going to enter that spelling bee. And I said, let's do it, baby. And she said, I'm going to do it. So, you know, and it says, honor the past. Before Nangi, Athakwijit. I don't have that on there, but it's Before Nangi, Athakwijit. That means take care of it. Long time ago. So this is kind of what.
Yeah, I'm good.
I kind of go
Connected.
by.
Can you believe that?
That's kind of what I do to, this is kind of what I go by. So I'm not, you know, my mom used to say, you know, whatever you believe in, stand firm in. And that's what I believe in is language. And this is what I believe in right here. I believe in this. And so I carry that with me all the time. And I thought I'd share that with y'all. Okay, verbs, here we go. Remember the verbs now. Boxes tomorrow, mojanitas today, and it is I. All this, remember I said we're verb prominent language. So all these that you see there, all these you see, I got some of them. This is not all the infinitive verbs. This is just a few of them. Like hijida, remember? When you do hijida, you subtract the ida, iti, ah, and add AC, which I'm going by the Muskogee sounds, which is hijas. I am seeing or looking at. You can do all kind of, this is one of the things that, so a lot of times when you're speaking, it's about that person or you. Most of the time it's you. Because when they call you, they say, what are you doing? I can say, home to the highest, I'm cooking food. Bidagi stokleges. Hear that? In there. Bidagi stokleges. I'm here with the kids. I'm sitting here with the kids. Bidagi makobanes. I'm playing with the kids. You can do all kind of things with these infinitive verbs. So that's how come we're verb prominent. A lot of times it's again, it's always, how you doing? Istungesos. Seem to be doing okay. See, this is how come I want you to learn verbs, but this is present tense. Somebody asked you, okay. And then they'll say, what'd you do yesterday? You got that. Take off the ET minus ET right here. Add unks. Niki si. He's a yunks. Hatisi, he's a yunks. Who saw those moons that's supposed to come in? Me and my husband are kind of like, my husband's really interested in astronomy, so he's got a telescope and it takes him forever to set that sucker up, but he'll set it up and we'll go look. Hijayaks, Hathisi, Hijayaks, Litkayaks, Iran. And that comes from Litkida. Litkida, past is Hijayaks. Hombida, past is Hombayanks. I ate. I ate. Honayayanks, I spoke. Honayida. I walked. Yagabayanks. Infinitive verb. Yagabida. See what you can do with that? You're doing something. Most of the time you are. Sometimes it's all about you. Because you're always doing something. This is part of it. Okay, look here. I will see. This is future. You take an infinitive verb, hijida, minus the et and add ec, and you'll say hijafis. I will see. Hafisi hijafis. I will see the moon. Hijafis. Hafisi hijafis. I will see the moon. I will run. Litgathis. And it all comes back to the infinitive verb. Right here. That's all you got to do is add Yagabes as unks feast. Litgathis. I will run. Hombathis. I will eat. I will talk, Unayathis. I will walk, Yagabathis. That's all. See, this coming, let's see. I think it's October 14th. Unayathis. I'm going to do a presentation on the Trail of Tears for another program. They asked me to do it, and I'm going to do it. But I've done it before, and I got, I need to study go over some of my papers, but I know them by heart. And I won't just tell what's on paper. I'll tell what my family's told me. Bonayathis, Dimifkidanini, Ozadi, Bonayathis. I will talk about that. No, I haven't. Christy, Trail of Tears, have you read Rivers of Sand? No. I don't know if that's going to be hosted remotely or not. But I'll ask. It should be on. They should put it on for everybody like to see. You know what I'm saying? What do they call that? Oh,
The website or.
yeah, website. Yeah, or YouTube.
Social media.
Muskogee Media might have it because they will be there. But you know, when they asked me to do these things, I never turn them down. Due to the fact that it's for us. And a lot of people will say, you know, I can't do it. It's for us. I have to, you know, and it's, you know, I'm going to go do that. And, you know, I think it's going to be an honor. It's going to be an honor to honor our history, for one thing. And, you know, I'm going to share stories that my mom told me and my grandmother told me. It's, you know, that I carried up to now. You know, and some call it a migration. I had one of the teachers my kids had, my little 13-year-old. I don't know if I shared that with you. She had a question, the migration of the Muskogee people. And she's 13, you know, she's in a junior high. And I said, for one thing, that's wrong. That's wrong. And I said, I don't want you to say migration. I said, I want you to put forced removal. The Muskogee people they did not migrate. It was a forced removal. So she wrote that on her paper and she took it back. And I thought, you know, she should get in trouble. I'll be down there. I'll be down there to meet with your teacher. And I said, don't worry about it. So she wrote it down. And then she asked me questions about it. And I told her, because now she's old enough to know a little bit of history. And she said, oh, Mama, that's terrible. Grandma, that's terrible. And I said, but you're still here to tell. And then she turned around and she said, Grandma, she said, I'm going to turn this paper in and I'm going to be proud of it. She said, if I take a paddling, that's okay. And I said, oh, you won't. No, you won't not. Well, grandma's good. But this teacher was understanding. He wrote that. He said, you know what? You're right. He said, you are very right. He said, y'all were forceful. And you know, he said, I'm giving you an A for correcting.
Mvhayv, I had the opposite effect, you know, when I was telling my children what was correct. He comes home and he's singing about Davy Crockett, the American hero. And I said, I told him then, I said, well, Gus, nagi den je he Gus gezen, nakstoen magen, Hovoon anki, you know, man, meisty da, Davy Crockett Mahoga said, nakstumi doat. Go look in your encyclopedia and tell me what you're reading in there. So he said, okay, Mom. And so he was only what, 5th grade, 6th grade, something like that when that happened. And so he went and he read all about Davy Crockett in the encyclopedia. Next thing I know, he's asking me, Mom, what does massacre mean? And it broke my heart, but he didn't know. And so I said, he murdered people, a lot of them. And so he he said, that's not right, Mom. He said, he murdered my ancestors. And I said, that's right. And, but anyway, so he went back to school the next day and told the teacher that. And then we had open house a couple of days later. And so the teacher approached me and he says, you need to stop letting your children read those pro-Indian books. And I looked at him and I said, my children are going to read what I tell them to. And what I choose for them is really none of your business. And I said, because he comes here to learn from you because he has to. But no, you will not tell him that what we believe is wrong. And he said, well, I want to know where you got that information about Davy Crockett massacring Creek Indians. And he said, and what has that got to do with you? He said. I said, those were my ancestors. And he just kind of looked at me and he said, well, where did you get the information? And so he had several stacks of Encyclopedia Britannicas on the shelf right behind him. And I said, see that one right there? I said, that's what he was reading and that's where he found it. And he said, I said, so he wasn't reading pro-Indian books because I have no idea. I have no idea what you're talking about, pro-Indian books at that time. I didn't know what they were. And so, but it was an eye-opener for that teacher. And then he realized that he was teaching a multicultural class. They weren't all Anglo-Saxons.
Yeah.
You know, some of them were Filipinos, Japanese. There were some kids in his class from Thailand because they were Navy children. And then for him to say that I was teaching mine to read, pro-Indian books. And I said, well, now that you put me on that subject, I said, I'm going to go find them and then I'm going to see what they say. And if it's okay, I said, my children will start reading those too. And he just kind of looked at me like, but I'm talking, like 1971, 72. So that's where we were. But
well, that's the thing right there. I didn't want for her to learn a different way. And I didn't know, but she was proud to do it. She said, Grandma, I'll pay this thing. And I said, they're not going to, because I'm going to. And he didn't tell her. He said, you're right. He said, you're right. And he said, and he asked her, I guess, and she said, my grandma. He said, she's right. She's right. He actually got an A for that paper, and I was glad about that, that he was understanding about it, and but it was somebody wrote here. It says that it says David Crockett abandoned Jackson during the War of 1812, the Aztec War. He was fairly sympathetic to the Creeks, and Crockett also is legal and find references. Crockett also documented, yes, one of the township massacres while he was in Jackson. He was not thrilled what happened. Check out. Well, that's just like that soldier I was telling y'all about one time. He said he was told what to do. And he said, even though it was the worst treatment I've ever seen of humans.
Crockett was very young at the time when they went through. He was a scout. And later on, he became a congressman and he argued vehemently against removal. He said, this is wrong. And it went to Supreme Court. Supreme Court said, no, removal is not okay. It's not constitutional. Jackson did it anyway. And Madison who followed Jackson. It's quite an interesting history. I've been digging into it. So go ahead. Yeah.
So the soldier, he said, what's going on? And I meet my maker. So see, there was a lot of them that knew it was wrong, but they did it anyway, and well, just like that soldier, he's doing what I was told, or they would have got him for treason. I think it was treason. They would have got him for that.
Or his family would have gotten.
Yeah, his
repercussions.
family probably would have got repercussions. But that's documented, that he did do that. So, okay, up here. This is phrases for hot weather, and the reason why yesterday we got to 127 degrees heat index. We have never seen heat index like this. But Saturday, it was 113. And I know when we had our ceremony, I know it had to be in 120. But it was so hot. And so I put down, it's warm today. Mojaneta ligothi dos. Ligothi means warm. There's hot, which is hei. Ligothi means warm. So gazapi means cold. But so see, it was warm today, and this is kind of like warm. This is more like it here. It's boiling today. And boiling means like really hot. So instead of saying boiling, I put, okay, look at it now. Mojanita, hey, hear that tone? I emphasize, hey, dos, G. That G is an exclamation saying today, I literally translate that. It's saying it's boiling today. Today it's hot. Mojanita, hey, dos, G. And I walked out here earlier and I come out and I said, hey, dos, G. I didn't say mojanita or anything. And that's where situation environment came in, because I stepped in from outside. I said, whoa, it's hot. I said, hey, dos, G. See, that meant outside was hot. The sun is strong today. Mojanita hashiyichidos. Today, sun strong is. Look how that's written now. Mojanita hashiyichidos. The ground is dry. Igana gaspidos. Gaspi means dry. Igana is ground. We need rain. Uski buyajitos. But literally it's saying rain we need. It starts fires when it's dry. Gaspi no mak. Hobotki duis. Hobotki is wildfires. Hobotki, see, because fire is torka. But when it's like in wildfires, like just going from here and there, fields and stuff, it's hobotki. Hobotki. This is another word, that new word. Remember, I'm teaching y'all different words that you hardly ever hear. Hobotki means like a wildfire. In fact, I got a cousin in Spokane. He's ready to go. He said, I'm already loaded up just in case of an evacuation. And I worry about him because he's been burned.
This is AP Academic Advising? Okay, great.
Burned down before, his place got hit, and he's got a big place and it got hit before with wildfires. And now he said he got his trailer ready. And he said, in case they have to evacuate, he said, I'm just going to pull out, but he's been hit. So hobotki means like a wildfire, or when like they're having in Canada and Washington, it's hobotki. And there's a difference. Everybody says torka is fire, but hobotki means it's out of control. Hobotkiros, So remember that. Okay. Look here. See, it says boiling. In the English language, you could say it's boiling today, and it's actually being like, it means hot. But here I just emphasized it saying mojanita hey dos chi. Hear that accent, hear that tone. Hey, because hey is hot. But when I say hey, that means it's boiling. And doshji. Hey, doshji. Mean it's hot, it's boiling. So see how this was written? We can take some of these things in English and make it into Muskogee and mean the same thing. Mean the same thing. But this is a different word for y'all, hobutki. You don't hardly hear that anymore. But a long time ago, I used to hear it all the time. Hobutki dosti. Gus binomat hobutki duis. When it's dry, it starts fires when it's dry. Igana gus bidos. Uski boyajitos. Mojanita ligothidos. And these are just different, these are just talk about what we're going through right now, And my husband, he's got heart problems. So we kind of I have to keep him out of the heat a lot of times. So last night he came in and I said, stay out of the heat, stay out of the heat because, and then I got one that's asthmatic, my little grandson, he has asthma. And I had to keep him inside. And in fact, day before, what day was it? He said,
The ozone alert days.
yeah, ozone alert days. Well, I've been keeping him inside and he snuck outside. He comes in and he goes, I need a breathing treatment. And he knows how to work his machine. Boy, he ran in there and, of course I got him the medicine that he needs. And boy, he sat there and he plugged up. He's got a puppy dog that does the breathing, he's got a puppy dog. And he's plugged up his puppy dog and he was just doing it. And I said, Chiget Duques, I told you. I said, I told you not to go outside. Don't be around outside. And I said, you didn't listen to me. Boy, he didn't want to tell me. Boy, he come running by and I said, where are you going? And he was plugging it up, because I had told him not to go outside. And he was plugging it up and, he said, Grandma, I need breathing treatment. And I said, I told you not to go outside. She got fit that. But he went out there. He found out. So yesterday, I said, you better not go outside. He goes, okay, Grandma. He knew because he wasn't going to go back out there. He found out that he wasn't breathing good, And so he learned his lesson. And, my mom used to say, sometimes you got to live and learn. You got to live and learn. And she would say, you'll go around till you learn. Okay.
We all have that kid.
We all have that kid. Now, I'm gonna tell you, he's a little mess though, But when he's a worker, since they moved, since we keep him, boy, he likes to do grass and everything. But he had pneumonia here. He was in a hospital here a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks ago, with pneumonia, and he was going in, he was aspirating what he was doing. And we had to go to the hospital and he's got he knows how to do those machines for an 8-year-old, he knows how to do them. And that makes me sad because I'm like, he's just a baby, yet he knows how to do these. He knows how to do his own stuff because he's so used to it. That's a way of life for him. It made me sad. And I said, that baby knows how to do his own stuff. Okay, what do you want to cook? Nagin no feja giaja. Nagin no feja giaja. Okay. Nagin no feja giaja. Those are all in your sounds. What kind of food do you like to make? Humbida istowan hayet giajidoa. Look here. I usually make vegetarian food. Now that's not me. That's not me. But look how I did this, okay? Vegetarian is what? No meat. So this is what I did. Abishwa is meat. Sigon, humbida haye duis. Abyss was meat. Sigon means no, nothing, none. Humbida haye duis. Humbida is food I make. Abyss was sigon, no meat. But that's the same thing as vegetarian. Vegetarian, abyss was sigon. Abyss was sigon, humbida haye duis. Do you have allergies? Food allergies? You know, in English, they would say, do you have food allergies? But in mine, I would say, humbida jinhifejigat ojidoa. Humbida's food, jinhifejigat means it's not good for you. Does it not make you feel well? Jinhifejigat ojidoa. Jin, member, is second person. So I would say jinhifejigat. So I would walk up to her, and if I said, humbida jinhifejigat ojidoa. Jinhifejigat means like it's not good for you. So it's the same thing as food allergies. It's saying food not good for you. Is there some? See how this? Ooh, here's another one. Are you lactose intolerant? How do you like this? Wagabisi abaga jinhifejigodoa. See? Okay, look here. Not means things. Wagabisi abaga, that's milk. Abaga means in it. Same thing. Not, don't make you feel good or is not good for you. And that's lactose intolerant. Look how we don't have lactose in Muskogee, but we got milk. Are you lactose intolerant? Not wagabisi abaga jinhifejigodoa. This is actually saying anything that's got milk in it, not good for you. Abaga means in it or mixed in with it. Look at there. Okay. Do you follow? I can get this one. I'm craving soup. Ubushwaji, Jayad, it's supposed to be Jayajis. Jayajis. I'm craving. Craving is just saying I won't. So it's Jayajis. It has to have an E at that where that U is, Jayajis. Okay, look here. I'm in the mood for steaks. Steaks is good meat to us, so it's saying abishita. Jayajiush. It's abyss is short for abiswa. Hita means good stuff. Jayajiush. Jayaji means I feel like having it. Jayajiush. This is, you know, when I was doing this, I kind of got tickled at it because we can change these. We have them. We got this. Abishita means good meat. Okay. Do you like spicy food? Humbida nak hey hoya. A bugging jiajidua. Humbida's food. Nak hey hoya means things that are hot. In it, do you like? Do you want to have something hot or cold? There's some. It says when watching the first season of Reservation Dog, the kids had a little box of lactate in their house. I have never felt so seen, and another reason why Native media created by Native people is so important. And we do have lactose intolerant people.
My mom said that Stajadis normally didn't drink that.
Yeah,
And so she would say the elders would laugh at anybody who drank milk because, you know, like, you're not a little cow.
yeah.
And, you know, our bodies weren't meant to drink that.
Well,
Our bodies,
bodies,
yeah.
yeah, our bodies are different,
Mhm.
you know, and there's all kinds of things, you know, I had to go doctor the other day and I said, well, I'll come out with something wrong with me, you know, because every time you go doctor, there's something wrong with you, you know, and I said, well, if I go to the doctor, I'm fine. If I don't go to the doctor, I'm fine, but if I go to the doctor, I'm sick. So anyway, so see, our bodies, you know, talk about like lactose and being vegetarian. We weren't vegetarians, but we were natural vegetable eaters. But we had to have meat. Meat is our food, actually. Because I don't know if you see a native people that doesn't eat meat. You know, they love meat and they can't eat a meal without meat. I can, but my husband, he'll say, where's the meat?
That's me.
Where's the meat? You know, at that one time, you know, we just had meats. He said, where's the meat? And I said, in your boat. And he could not get that for the life of him. He could not. He said, these are beans, you know, and he loves beans. I said, meat. He said, that ain't meat in there. You know, yeah, it's protein. But see, we don't look at it like other people do, you know. So not kasapin hayin jiada, not kasapin something cold or hot. Hayin jiada, not kasapin hayin jiada. I don't have no word between there, but you can speak that way. Not kasapin hayin jiada. Desiree, not kasapin hayin jiada. Which one? See?
Hey.
Hey, she said. It says, should we grill some? Listen. Megan.
Mahaya. Hai do ganda nak kazapin jayat.
Yeah, you want something goes up because it's cold, you know, you want something cold. You know, you want something cold.
I was just drinking hot tea.
She was drinking hot tea. And I gotta have my coffee, you know, so whether it's
And I got iced tea.
whether it's 110 degrees or 30 degrees, I drink coffee.
That's me too.
You know, so coffee jayaji dundo. Okay, right here says, should we grill something? Look here. We probably didn't know what grill meant. I mean, we didn't go back when my grandmother was living. I didn't say, Grandma, you want to grill something? Because she would have never known what we were saying. But if I said, not hudubahania, not hudubahania, yeah, hudubi is the same thing as grill. Now, look what we did with these. And they call us non-intelligent. Because we got all these not, you know, we probably had some people that was couldn't drink milk. You know, we probably didn't have much steak, so they called it abisquita, good meat. You know, because I grew up with salt pork. You know, I loved salt pork, and you know, we still do now. There is high stakes now, though. There is a lot more if they're not higher. You know, so it's still a bisheatha.
They found out that like all this food, so they drank it.
Yeah, you know, so you know, this is something that vegetarian, abishwashigun means no meat. You know, and I don't know anybody that's vegetarian as far that I've met. There might be some natives out there that are, but the ones I've known, they gotta have that meat. And my husband's one of them, and my grandkids. Boy, they love that salt pork. You know, they'll eat that salt pork, and you know they like on salt pork. They like the what do you call it? Rind.
Yeah.
And one time I brought back salt meat, and they said, "Grandma, where's the rind? That's the best part of salt meat." Because, you know, my grandkids teethed on that. We cut the rind off. we tie a string to it and they would chew it.
Mhm, mhm.
That was a teething. That helped them teeth. You know, so, but we put a string on it so they wouldn't choke, you know, we could get it out. But they would teeth on that salt pork rind. And I mean, they sucked on that sucker all day long.
So they got the taste.
And yeah, and they chew it and they chew it, you know, and you know, and then I did that with my first grandbaby. And then when the second one came along, they did it themselves. My daughters did it themselves. They go get a rind. Look at kind of crispy, kind of crunchy. They give it to them, and it looked nasty after they got through with it. But you know, it was there. You know, but they used it as a teething. Used it as a teething thing. So look here. Geese, look here now.
Mahaya, before you start this one, I saw something where somebody was saying that they were related to Barnetts.
Huh?
I just want to let them know that I probably don't know my Barnett relatives because I'm more familiar with my family that's on my grandma's side. And my grandfather comes from between Okfuskee and Bristol, I think. He's one of those Barnetts. But because he was orphaned when he was real young, we had never been able to get acquainted with that side of the family. So I don't know who my Barnett relatives are. And then again, because we grew up out here in Arizona. And so the names that I would usually hear are names of people that lived in Eufaula, part of my grandma's family. So I'm more familiar with them, and then I can find cousins that way, you know, because of that. But at least my grandma knew who her relatives were. And because they always say, Bunahangidunga, you know, so we're related to Scots, and we're related to the Barnetts in Eufaula, but not on the dad's side. It's on the mom's side that we're related to them.
That was
So,
me, Ella. I am related to you. We're probably distant cousins.
So anyway, I just thought I'd explain that to, you know, to that person that was questioning, you know, I don't know, you know. So anyway, I just wanted to share that for those that really didn't know who I am, and the fact that, you know, I don't live in Oklahoma. I live in Arizona, and I grew up out here in Arizona and California. So anyway, but it's always good to find somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that's related to me. So anyway, Mado.
Well, you know, that we're not telling our kids. In fact, this one man come up to me and he said, you know, I'm kidding you. I said, I was told your mother was kin to my grandmother, you know, or his grandmother or something. And he said, you know, I just wondered if you knew. And we was at a gathering, and I said, and you know, he come up to me, he goes, I want to talk to you in a few minutes after we get through eating. We was eating. As you know, how Stijati's are, they all gather up. And so after we got through eating, I went over there to speak to him, and he said, did you know you're kin to me? I said, yeah. He said, so they told you? And I said, yeah. But I said, I didn't know you. And you know, that can happen, you know. And he said, yeah, I knew. But he said, you know what? I talked to you, you talked to me, we knew each other all these years. But he said, you know, I didn't know if you knew. I said, I knew. And anyway, so he said, you know what? This is what's getting lost. He said, you don't tell your kids. You don't tell your kids. So during the ceremony we had, everybody that was kin to my kids, I said, that's kin to you, that's kin to you. He, she. They said, golly. And the Stajabi people don't say first, second, third, fourth, fifth, or run out of blood. They don't do that. I don't care how far they're down, they're kiddie. So that's how they used to do, and that's how come we're large families. So some of us are in super. You can, yeah. Well, we go in a circle. Everybody says we go in a circle, and we do. I think, because me and my husband, we got married. And my aunt, now this is my aunt, this would be my mother's great aunt. She said, we're going around in circles. She said, I'm kin to you on your mom's side, and I'm kin to him on your dad and his dad's side. But we're not kin to this, they're not kin to each other. And she goes, we're just going around in circles. She goes, I don't know how that's happening. So see how that goes. See, she was related to my husband on his dad's side. But I was related to her on my mother's side. But yet different families. And I'm like, say that again. But that happens. And she said, y'all need to quit going around in circles. She said, full of DJ, way got y'all. She goes, hey, go around, full of DJ, way got y'all is what she said, But she was, she's gone now, but I still remember what she said to me, you're just going around in circles. Okay, look here, cooking phrases. Says, let's look at this. My family we can trace all the way back to when some of the English side of the family came over in 1600s. The Tonys apparently have a long history with the Creek, along with the provinces, the Barnett, the Jenkins, wow, and other families. The Tonys in Alabama claim family moved. Wait, let me see.
Yeah.
Let me go up.
Sometimes it goes a little bit too, yeah,
The Tonys in Alabama claim to have been run out of Georgia in 1840s and run off the land in Alabama again in 1930s. My family, James and his family, moved out to a ridge in Arkansas shortly after. We still live there in the woods today. Woods, I love woods. And see, that's kind of history that you need to pass down. Jonathan, you need to pass this down to your kids. And what I do, like I told you before, I write things down. I got a little book that I write important things down. Even this teaching that I do, I write it down. Every time I speak somewhere, I write it down. And hoping that, and this book will go to my kids if anything should happen to me. Their clan, their tribal town, everything is written down. My roll number, everything. So that's how it says I have a lot of second and third cousins, great uncles, great aunts, but I grew up calling them all just cut exactly.
yeah.
We didn't put them out just because they were third or fourth cousins. They were family. They were family, and that's how most of us are. We were family, no matter how far down it was. And so I write it all down, so that they can see it, and I told them, so you won't walk around saying, who am I? Yeah, who am I?
You see a lot of being older, I learned about my history older.
Yeah.
Because they didn't tell us.
Yeah.
And then they just assumed we knew. And I'm like, how are we gonna know if you never tell us? And they're gone now, so I can't go and ask them.
You can't go in, and that's the thing right there, because most of your grandparents and stuff, Like my mother, my grandma, they were walking history books. They weren't written down, but they tell you. And so I called them my walking history books. Breathing, living, breathing, walking history books. And so whatever they told me, I'd write it down. And there's some things I forgot. And gosh, sometimes I'm like, what did they say? What did they say? You know,
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Yeah,
figure it, you know. So
you're like, she told me, but I wasn't listening, or
Yeah.
I didn't listen too much.
I didn't listen too much. That was it. And now I wished I had. Okay, look here. How many people says, let's grill some burgers? Yeah, there's a kind of loneliness that only you can. That's right. You know, we don't have family reunions. Some of them do, I know. They have family reunions. But my uncle used to tell me, when death comes, it's when everybody comes together. That's the family reunion. He said that's a family reunion because everybody will show up. Distant cousins and everything, they'll show up. And she said that's the family reunion. So our family, you know, we got together like holidays and stuff, but we didn't call it a reunion. We just got together, you know. Okay, in English, how many we say? Let's grill some hamburgers. Let's grill some burgers. I wouldn't do it today. But look here, we can say hamburger horubagis. Hamburger. We didn't have hamburgers back then. We didn't have a word for it. So my grandma used to say hamburger, hamburger horubagis.
I remember that word.
And it says, do you have a recipe? Do you have the recipe? Istumid hayida hochat ojichidoa. We don't have a word for recipe, but we got how to make it written. Do you have how to make that's written? Do you have wrote? It's, you know, that's been wrote. See, we don't have a word for recipe, but we got things that's been written down. So do you have it? Istumid hayida hochat ojichidoa. Do you have it, something that's written down on how to make it? I usually just make everything from scratch. That's me. I make everything from scratch. You know, I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it, but last night I made cowboy bread. And it's flat bread.
A buttergun.
A butterga, a butterga. And so and you know, this past weekend, Saturday, we had, what did we have? Oh, we had a dinner with the community members. And then Sunday, we had a movie and a day out with the community members. So come Monday, what did we do Monday? Today's Tuesday, right? So Monday, last night, I got home and I had made a pot of red beans. My kids love red beans. I mean, they're red beans eater, you know, and that's our food too. That's our staple for Muskogee people. So I made a pot of red beans with a ham hock in it. And I had made and of course we eat it with rice. And you know, during hot days when the oven couldn't be used, we learned to make bread on top so it wouldn't be so hot. So I made that, and boy, I tell you what, my grandkids, and I made, you know, I was gonna make meatloaf, but then I turned around and thought, well, nope, not of it. So I just made hamburger patties. Well, my grandkids split the flatbread, because you know, our flatbread is not like tortillas, they're pretty thick. So they split it and put the hamburger meat in there and ate it. And I said, there's light bread. We don't want light bread. So they split that flatbread and that cowboy bread and just slapped that meat in the middle and put ketchup on it and whatever they had, and they ate it. You know, and see, that was a meal for us, you know, and like I was telling, you know, sometimes the foods that's on the market today is not good for us, like she said, lactose intolerant. Our bodies are different as Native people. like, and I think that's why we have a lot of diabetes, drug use, alcoholism. That's why salt hurt us. That's why sugar hurts us. Because we didn't have that stuff to add to our foods. And then, when we start ingesting it. Oh, I know, Jonathan, when we start ingesting these things, it wasn't made for our types of body. So it kind of messed with our bodies, and if we could go back to natural things and quit eating salt, but see, we're addicted now. Me and my coworker we fight over salt in our office.
Not me.
It ain't working. I got another coworker. He loves salt and I love salt. So when they put salt out, they stick it right in the middle of me and him, so we can.
Mvhayv, I am in the other class, and that is what we learn is the word for salt. So y'all are so funny.
And it says salt is evil, but look what. Okay, did they bring us salt? Well, Jen, what? We're killing ourselves with it.
I think when they took away our hunting lands and forcibly removed us from our natural resources, because salt is naturally in
Yeah, it is.
Alabama.
Yeah, it is.
But we didn't overuse it.
No,
We
it
didn't
was
overuse
dug too. It was naturally from the ground.
It wasn't overused
water?
like the commodities that they gave us. So
Yeah.
the commodities they gave us were just drenched in salt.
Mhm.
Where if we used it in Alabama and Georgia, we just use it for flavoring and stuff. We didn't salt pork. We didn't completely do it with salt.
Yeah. So we fought over that, so they put it right in the middle of us. Okay. Say, knock, amidat, haye dois. Things myself I make. I make everything from scratch. My dressings for holidays, my gravies. I make everything from scratch. I don't cook, And so my husband works with a guy. He went back to work today. He had a vertigo. I took him back to the hospital Sunday, and so anyway, he went back to work today and he said, and I told him it's hot now, you better stay out of that heat. And he worked with this guy that told him, he said, my wife, they've been married 7 years. He said, my wife burns everything she can. And my husband said, it was natural, not from Europe, but we have so much salt preservers. That's right, the preservation stuff that they put in things, the steroids, the additives is what's killing us. It says we have to heat up the oven first. Shadow hey chit, hey chidowahanis. Hey chidowahanis. We have to heat it up. Can you peel potatoes? Can you peel potatoes? Can you slice vegetables? Not Lani Diwatichiha. And I have, like I told you before, I have a family of lefties. My middle daughter is lefty, her husband's lefty, her kids are lefty. That's a whole family of lefties.
I used to be lefty until they made me do my right.
Oh, really? And that's not right, because your brain gets messed up from that.
I heard that a lot of native indigenous people were originally left-handed. And they made them right with the right hand.
So the left-hander, she'll say, I'll slice the vegetables, and it's not right. And when they coming down the road, my husband says, here comes the wrong-handed people. He calls them wrong-handed, and he'll say, here comes the wrong-handed people. And she'll say, I'll peel potatoes or I'll slice, that whole family is left-handed. So when we get together, we all have to watch where we sit with them, because we're all right-handed, but them, and there's 4 of them. They're all left-handed. That's kind of a, so we call them wrong-handed people anyway. So when she sliced vegetables, when she's slicing anything, it don't look
The same.
natural to me because, you know, she kind of holds her knife this way. And I don't know, and she's got her vegetables laying this other way, and she's kind of doing this, you know, and I'm like, we're sitting there, and me and my other daughter be standing there like, she's like, how's she doing that? How's she doing that? I don't. Okay, it says, I need to cut the ham. Shokhahavi, diwathiden jayastos. Or shokhahavi, diwathiden amojidos. Okay, shokha is pig, havi is thigh. My father was lefty and they injured his hand, so he would have to use his right hand in school. I was left-handed and thought it was wrong because of what happened to my dad. So I learned how to write with my right. Okay, that's what she said. She said she was forced to write with her right. But your brain can get messed up with that. Because your right side controls the left side. And your left side controls the right side. So when they switch them like that, it's not good to do that. So when my daughter, my middle daughter, when she started being left-handed, we just let it go. We knew she was going to be left-handed. You know, I knew she was going to be left-handed, but it was all right. She was going to be a lefty. So she did everything at a young age with left hand. So, but we didn't mess with it. But this teacher told me, you need to switch her to right. I said, I don't need to switch her to right. She's lefty, she gonna stay lefty. The Lord created her lefty, she gonna be a lefty, you know. Yeah, don't switch. You're not supposed to switch. So and this teacher was trying to make her. And so her sister said, this teacher's making her right left. So I went to the school and I shadowed her. I stayed there all day in school. She did try. And so I switched her back. I told that teacher, no, I'm raising this girl. You got her in this class. You're teaching her, but I'm raising her. She's mine. She's your student, but she's my child. So I better not catch you saying that she's going to be right-handed. So she's left-handed. Her husband's left-handed. Her 2 kids are left-handed. And, you know, so when we get together, we really have to watch, even in the kitchen. And, you know, when she's staring stuff, it don't seem natural, but because we're all right-handed in the family. And she's a lefty. So we call her wrong-handed, you know, or my husband will say, here comes those southpaws. You know, they're coming down the road. The southpaws are coming, you know. And my grandkids don't understand what he's saying. They don't know why, but they'll be like, what's up, Paul? Okay. Should I start grilling the chicken? Chicken, grill, should I start? Should I? See, look how these are going. Is the water boiling yet? Or moska? How many cups of flour do we need? Okay. How many cups of flour do we need? Okay, guys, this Kika, she just reminded me. So Friday, she's going to teach for me because I have a funeral. Saturday, I got a memorial to go to too. So she's going to teach for me Friday, and I don't know what she's going to teach, but whatever it is, you know, you'll be learning. So anyway, Chihita got this. Chihita got this. Mado, everybody. Mado, I hope you all enjoyed this class. This was a little different.
Enjoyed it, yes.
Mado Mahaya. Great job with someone.
Oh, no, that's it. Mado, and Hang in there, guys.
Stop here. And we didn't.